Once upon a time, there lived a beggar in a small town. He used to beg at the railway station every day, and the beggar would satisfy his hunger by the money he got from people throughout the day. One day, after the train stopped at the station, the beggar saw a gentleman dressed in a court pants tie. The beggar thought that this guy could probably get a lot of money. Thinking of this, the beggar went to the gentleman and asked for some money. The gentleman then replied, "If I give you money, what will you give me in return?" The beggar was surprised to hear his question, and said that, "I am a beggar, I make a living with financial help from others. What can I give people? I have nothing to give." Then the gentleman replied, "Look, I am a top-class businessman in the city. I don't spend anything where I won't get anything in return. I always believe in give and take principle, and that is what helped me to become such a big businessman in this city." After saying these words to the beggar, the gentleman went away, and turned back to the beggar on the go, and said, "You are poor today because of you. If you get something, you have to pay something. Use your thoughts appropriately, and you will also improve your life." After the gentleman left, the beggar began to think that no one had told him these things till date. At one point, the beggar felt that I never thought about how I could give people something. And what can I give to people in exchange for begging? At one point his eyes fell on a huge flower garden on the side of the road outside the station. There were many rows of flowers planting. Many flowers were lying on the ground in that garden. Then, the thought came to his mind that, what if I collect the flowers that are lying in the garden, and give flowers in return to those who give me alms? Finally, he decided to do this. From then on he would give a flower to all those who gave him alms. This is how the day goes by. After a few days, the beggar noticed that he now gets a lot more begging than ever, because of flowers in exchange.
That's how the days of that beggar passed. Then another day, the beggar saw the famous businessman coming down from the train. Then the beggar went to the gentleman and said, "Sir, today you donate some money to me, and in return, I will give you one of these flowers." This time the businessman gave some money to the beggar, and took a flower in return. Then the businessman looked at the beggar with a smile and said, "Wow. I see you have become a businessman, like me. This is how you will always use your thinking power. The more you think about solving life's problems, the more you will find new ways to solve them. Beautiful thoughts can make people's lives beautiful." After saying these words to the beggar, the businessman left the railway station. The beggar liked the words of the businessman very much, and the beggar was quite inspired. Then the beggar came to the railway station, and shouted in a loud voice and said with happiness, "I got the way, I would no longer be begging, I would become very rich. I've become a businessman." Many people at the railway station gathered at his activities, and thought that this man was probably crazy. From the very next day, the beggar no longer comes to the railway station to beg. 2 years passed like this, but that beggar was not seen again at the railway station. One day, that famous businessman of the city was going to another city on his business by train. Then a handsomely dressed gentleman came and sat next to him. Then the stranger greeted the businessman and said, "Do you know me?" The businessman replied, "I don't know you." Then the new gentleman told the businessman that, "I am the beggar, whom you say on the first day, that I was responsible for my condition, and you would use your thinking then would improve life." That businessman was surprised, and said, "How did you improve your life so much?" Then the man replied that, "Sir, the biggest contribution to the improvement of my life today is your words that day. From the day I stopped begging, I used to go around the different gardens all day, collecting flowers that were lying on the ground. Then, I used to sell the flowers at a higher price in the city, where there is a demand for flowers. I used to spend some of the money earned from selling flowers and save the rest. In this way, when a lot of money was accumulated by selling my flowers, I got involved in the fruit business. I used to collect fruits at cheap prices from the garden in the village area and sell the fruits at a profitable price. In this way, my sales increased a lot, and within a year my financial condition became much better than before. Now, I have leased a large fruit garden, and I am selling various fruits there at a profitable price in the city. The first businessman happily hugged him and waved him off. The first businessman does not have the end of joy, because, by following some of his words and some suggestions, another man has made life very beautiful. The moral of the story is, we should use our brain to think about self-development. A good decision will be taken by us if we can use our thinking properly.